Before it's time to spin, you've got to first cue it up.
I'm probably in your area too. Everybody who owns a laptop, they're a DJ. And everybody who owns a DSL camera, they're a photographer.
And what I'll do is put up blurbs so therefore you can see what I'm thinking about and why I chose that song. You can see the reaction of the kids. So you can kind of like get an idea of how to use it and what to expect.
Why do you want to charge for something that you have the knowledge of and these other DJs don't have the knowledge of? Share your knowledge, you know?
Right.
But DJing's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it is a lot of fun too, you know? I'm djmikiemike. I cover central, northeastern Pennsylvania, southeastern Pennsylvania, parts of New Jersey, parts of New York State.
And I'm Dwayne Dixon, the Hitman DDub from Cleveland, Ohio. And it's time to cue it up. What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Cue It Up DJ podcast with your host, me, Dwayne Dixon, the Hitman DDub, and my friend DJ Mikie Mike with his Men in Black sunglasses.
Hello. How's everybody doing? I can't see my screen because I only get glasses out.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you was on that 2-minute delay.
Yeah, no, I'm good now.
Okay.
I'm just going like a 2-minute delay, possibly. Let's see.
And I see I see a couple of people in the chat. Hopefully, I don't have to put my teacher hat on and put people in timeout. So we have DJ Cool Thing, and I think it's Travel Mexico. Is that Sean? DJ Night Owl. I believe that's.
Hello, DJ Cool Thing.
Yeah, I think that's who that is.
Hello, DJ Air Mexico. Echo.
Okay. So, the Cue It Up DJ podcast is a place where DJs of all walks, no matter if you're a beginner or an experienced DJ, we're here to connect, learn, and grow. From pro tips to real talk, we're here to support and celebrate the DJ community.
Yes.
So you're had a little break from your mini tour. So what did you do with your time off?
Well, with time off, I basically dismantled my one hard drive and did everything. I have triplicates of songs. Remasters, there's a version, there's a version. So I just kept everything on there, but I just did a totally file structure, matching up my other hard drive. This one, I switched over, it matched up my 2 and disc 3. Mm-hmm. Disc 1 basically built for my iPod. That's how it was. I just copied my iPod over, and then the way it was set, I don't know how I got it, but I did. You know? So now it's basically this drive is identical to drive 2, and then my SD drive I just keep as a spare. I have music on that, but that's just in case. And I have a ton of video I have to go through. I get a chance to download them. Actually, when I redid the hard drive, it took me, let's see, 436, just about 8 hours, but maybe a little bit over 48 hours to, I did recurse and then I analyzed the whole life. I didn't want to skip over a step. I wanted everything was done and was done the right. Some people say, okay, you're just moving in a virtual DJ, which you're supposed to, because if you move it on your hard drive, then you have to reanalyze everything. If you move it through virtual DJ, suppose that you don't have to reanalyze anything, But I wanted to make sure everything was done. It was done, like from start to finish, like it's a brand new drive all over again.
Okay.
It's your weekend.
Oh, mine was busy. This week will be my off week. So I just finished the last part of my DJ Gauntlet. So I went down to Columbus to hang out with Kevin, which he would be here if he didn't have a gig on Thursdays. He do karaoke, so he wasn't here. But he invited me down to a wedding that he had to kind of like help him out. And let me show you some pictures of that. Here it is. Yep, you'll see it in a couple of minutes. But Kevin pretty much did the MC work, and then he did the music for the dinner, and then I did the music for the open dance. So for me, it was easy because the only thing he told me to bring was my laptop and my little controller, so I didn't have much to do. And I sat in on their last consultation meeting to kind of like get an idea of what the couple wanted for open dancing. And what was odd about this one was the groom wanted all explicit songs for open dancing. His thing was he wanted us to cater to his group of friends, or I should say the bridal party, because if you looked at the bridal party, they were pretty much the only ones within the age group, which wasn't the majority of the people there. So you had a lot of people they call old, but they were pretty much my age. So I don't consider myself old, but the majority of them were about my age. And then you had like the bridal party was pretty much their little group. But then you had a whole bunch of little kids. I mean, not upper elementary school or middle school or high school. You had little kids. And so my thing was he wanted us to cater to his group with the dirty music. And Kevin had asked him, are you sure you want to do that? Because you would still have the older crowd there, like your grandmas, and you have kids there. But he assisted on having that. So Kevin drew up a special contract for him to sign. But while I was sitting there, Kevin played a lot of pop songs. And usually, like, for cocktail and dinner, that's the time I try out songs to try to get a vibe of what kind of songs I see people kind of like vibing to while he's sitting and socializing. So I know how to start off the open dance. But this, by me not doing that, I had to basically gauge off of what kind of vibe Kevin was setting up, and then try to see if I could see people actually bobbing their heads to what he was playing. So he was playing a lot of mainstream pop songs, up-to-date songs. So my thing was, since I saw a bunch of people my age and super young kids, I thought it would be better for me to kind of like override what the groom wanted and start off with safe songs. Your safe songs like your Bruno Mars, Uptown Funk, 24 Karat, or Justin Timberlake, Can't Stop the Feeling, or I Can't Feel My Face, those kind of songs. And then once open dancing had started, the bridal party was out taking pictures. So since I had a lot of little kids, bouncing around, I tried to cater to the kind of songs that they were like the Hot to Go and Cheerleader and Dynamite, those kind of songs. And then I eventually moved into the songs that they wanted. But one thing I can say, the playlist that she gave me, they gave me an extensive playlist, and it's almost like there's a lot of times where other DJs say, I don't take requests, or I'm not a Spotify playlist, but it was like the songs that you want was like a Spotify playlist, if that makes sense. So yeah, but the things was on her Spotify playlist, there were a lot of good songs, So what I did was take her long list and I divided her list up into like 3 sections. Songs that I think would work for a vibe to play like at if I had to do something during dinner or that downtime to play in between that dead time. And then other songs that would work good during the bangers, like the ones I know that would work on the dance floor, and then floor fillers. So I had a bunch of those songs in there. So that's how I was able to get through the night. And I pretty much played a lot of her songs, but then mixed in my songs. So it still was me not playing song for song back to back, but playing what the party needed. So what would you have done in that? What do you think that was the right move to override the groom and not come in? If you looked at the video, you see a bunch of little kids and then the people about my age. Do you think playing his playlist with the dirty songs? Do you think which one would you think would have been
for seeing Nick Howard and the young children there? There is no way he can pay me to play this dirty. That no pass. I encountered a situation something like that with my cousin, and mother just said play whatever she wants. You just and I sunk down my monitor because I was the elderly there. I was the young people there that were not teenagers, but they were 5, 7 years old. They're in this F-bomb, these other curses. I'm like, oh man, this is not me, and once I got through it, I just, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that set. That set was by our graduate. They said her name. I just turned to look at her, and it was just for her and her 8 people that graduated. And all to sat there, couldn't listen to what they wanted to hear because she wanted to hear dirty music. And it's because she that when she graduated and Ben did another party for, I think it was her 21st birthday, she went from all that heavy hardcore rap to Disney music. Like, what happened to this hardcore, not even the Disney music? So, which was great because it made my job a lot easier because a lot of the Disney music dance to too. Also, it was very, very nice. It was a nice night. I'm saying Disney music. You have Elton John, Bill Collins, all the artists making hits for their movies and stuff. Walt Disney, but to do the dirty music stuff, there's a possible way I'm gonna play them. Like I said, I wouldn't pay me to play that music. There's no way. Back probably.
Yeah, but the good thing about it was I'm glad that if you're looking at the video, if you notice that towards the end, I tried to put the video in order the way that it happened. If you notice when they were dancing, a lot of the older crowd, and they took their kids with them, so we didn't have a problem with the little kids there. So I think it all worked out. And cool thing
Who's
said,
the gentleman in shorts?
huh?
Who's the gentleman in the shorts?
That's what I would ask Kevin. I'm thinking that might be, he might be related to the groom because he kind of like favored him. But the odd thing was, they didn't want country music. I don't know why they didn't want any country music. They didn't even want line dancers. We snuck a line dance in because they was out taking pictures, and we had a bunch of little kids there. But when we were cleaning up, because Kevin was like, my time starts here and it ends here. So he didn't play any, he didn't go past or start before. So they had their own, they knew this, so they had their own Bluetooth speaker. And they were blasting country music. I'm like, we could have did that, but I guess I don't know. I don't know if they had something to do with the guy in the shorts, because the guy in the shorts was going off on the country music. So it just seemed when I saw him, I automatically thought about Dale from the King of the Hill, because that's something that he would wear. You know, the real short shorts where you see the pockets hanging down, and then you could see his suntanned arms and his white chest. That's what that guy reminded me of.
Farmer tan.
But I thought about you Saturday too, because if you look, we had a regular table that I had my controller on. I was like, you know, man, those boosters really would have came in handy there, because it's like I had to like.
I'm looking at you now. Your arms are down here, like me with those boosters, and I have the leg extensions. So my arms are basically at 90 degrees. Makes it great. Those boosters, and I have to link, and we posted even here for the leg extensions, and they're for certain types of folding tables. They're not for all types of folding tables. Now I do. They're a plastic pair, but I have a steel pair that will fit the other folding tables. They're heavy duty, but they're unbelievable how high they can the table up.
Yeah, I was trying to pull up. Go ahead.
The video looks interesting. I mean, it looks like everybody's having a lot of fun. That's a thing. You know, you want everybody to have fun, and you get the groom. You don't want to say no to him because he's the one paying you. He has to understand that you guys are doing your job, and you want it the right way. You don't want to anybody.
Right. And I was going to say, but Kevin has a nice little thing too. But it's just a matter of me trying to figure out how to like carry it, because I like to put my things in cases. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah.
He has like one of those things that sits on top of a table, and it's like a tray, and he has like a compartment that pulls out, that he puts his controller is small enough to fit on top of the pull-out tray, and then he can lift it up and down.
Okay.
So yeah, so you should see it in a minute. Yeah, it came up on mine. You should see it now.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. But it's heavy. Yep. But it has a lot of weight on the bottom. It's almost like trying to pick up a baby when the baby wants, you know, it don't want to be picked up. So you know how they make their weight all go to their bottom. That's how that thing is. And then Cool Thing said, let me see. He says, awesome setup, Dwayne. I'm glad everything went well at the gig. I knew both of you nailed it at that wedding. And yep, and I can't take all the credit. I can't take any of the credit for the setup. That was all Kevin's. Kevin had bought in the lights. If you saw the lights that was behind us, he bought those in, and then he had the Harminger's 900s. So he has an old version of the column array speakers that I had, and then he had his wireless mic, and I forget which one he had, and then of course he had his little controller and computer. But the lights that went across, like the top of the let me go back to it. The lights that went across, that look, the white lights, those is the party took place inside of a garage, so they decorate all that extra stuff. That was all of them that did that, because we the venue was on somebody's private property, so they actually live there. So they have this big huge field, and in the backyard they have a pond. It almost reminds you of those what do you call it? What do you call those gated neighborhoods that's like on a golf course? It reminds you of that. So they had a big huge just field, so that's where they had their ceremony. And then they had this big house next to that, and then I think they might have had a storage unit. So they had several different big huge houses or storage units, but that garage is huge.
Yeah, it looks something to like a pole barn that they finished up and turned it into a venue.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like I'm looking at the wood that they finished the interior with. That looks like wood that came from a barn, an actual one that may have been torn down somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would mad. I mean, it's wow. If you could buy the wood off a farmer that is tearing his barn down or tore his barn down,
Mm-hmm.
it's unbelievable. Hello, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Yep, but in all, I guess the important thing is just like what you said, to make sure that you try to please the client and all that, but you also want to make the event something that's pleasurable for the guests as well.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
right. So, but this is what he said to us afterwards.
I was like, you guys did awesome. Thank you so much.
No
That was
problem.
awesome.
Nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
That's Dwayne. You had him on the phone.
Yep.
So he liked it. So I guess that's all that matters. So I guess I made the right call by doing what I did. And then also I wanted to show the couple from last week, the one that I did that Sunday wedding for in Ravenna. And
I appreciate
It
you.
was kind of fun. I was kind of worried at first, but it was kind of quiet. So how did the ceremony go? Nice.
It went really good.
Okay, cool.
We'll recommend you and everything. Did a
All
great
right,
job.
cool. Oh, so real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the camera's on, right?
You did a great job.
Great job.
Thank
we
you
love
so
DJ
much.
Dixon.
Yes.
All right, thanks.
Appreciate you.
Nice meeting you all, finally.
Very organized.
Yep, thanks.
as you saw, their compliments were more on the customer service that they received from me and being organized. So that's why I don't get hung up in, like, when people talk about my column array speakers and me using this, that, and the other, because it's not really, yes, it can play a part into it, but it's also the way that you use your equipment and all the resources that you have to make the party and the event go well.
Yes. God, yeah. Yes. I mean, customer service is your main keep customer happy. That so much further than this big exquisite light show and also the fancy stuff. You're going out, you're total professional, and you're treating the couple and their guests like they are king and queen for the day. That means the world to them. Honestly, you won't believe what that means to them. Catering to the needs is the dynamics, everything. The thing is, I want to drift back. He wanted to hear explicit music. You know, a lot of couples, they don't, they're hiring a DJ. Yes, they like this music. Yes, it's, it's day and everything. But they have us as professional DJ. Let it make the last screen call out. In this situation, okay, the children left. Tell children leave. We'll put that music on, and believe me, we'll every try to get every song that you want, just to cater to it a little bit. But they're all hyped. It's their wedding, and they have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
But they're there too. Yeah, treat both equal precedent. The guests are here, the kids are here, bride and groom are here, and then once the kids leave, well, the bride and groom can rise up a little high because you want to get their music, and it's specifically that what they like.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. So you're not killing nobody with these foul languages, and maybe we'll get a 5-star if I use or not.
And Cool Thing went on and said that he had something similar happen to him at a birthday party last year where they wanted all dirty music and was scared to play. And he was scared to play the dirty version since He was used to playing the clean versions. And with me, I had, being that I DJ for like kids and everything, like school dances, I had to go and take her Spotify playlist, or I should say their Spotify playlist, and just re-download all those versions of that song to make sure I had all the dirty versions in that folder. And the ones that they sent to me was the Pacific dirty versions that I played. If I went outside of that, I played the stuff that I already had, because I couldn't go and try to find dirty versions of everything I had. That wouldn't make sense, especially if I'm not going to be playing the dirty versions after that day anyway.
Yeah, it's, you wait time and money, and it's unfortunate that you run into situations like that, but you handle it totally professionally. Like you said, Kevin came up with a contract in that the groom signed, so that was a good thing. I mean, he covered his rear end, and he satisfied the client too. So you gotta yourself. You gotta make sure you're covering yourself first, and then you go from there.
Yep, and I guess he also made an announcement before I got there, because when I was walking into the garage or that barn or whatever you want to call it, the reception place, I heard a few people outside saying the DJ just said he's going to be playing dirty versions, and if you don't like it, then it's probably best that you leave before open dance. So I guess he made the announcement about the groom wanting only dirty versions as well. So that was kind of funny.
That something similar happened to me. The bride and picked out a playlist. Groom sister, and everybody had a great time. I mean, unbelievable. And it was, I tell every couple of this. You're inviting people from maybe 90 years of down to of age, a ring bearer, our girl. So you gotta cover every genre. I don't care if you have to Baby Shark for the little kids, play it. If you have to play in Heaven There's No Beer for that, so in Joe, we try to every genre. So this bride and the groom, which I did his sister, he said, Mike, I want my wedding to be like my sister's wedding. So fine. Here's the day before the wedding, she's bringing a new plate and a new list for their ceremony. And the judge that was marrying both of them, and he goes to Mike, is this the bride's plate? He said, is this to walk the ceremony or into reception? I said, that is ceremony. And he said, you're like I'm Catholic, and please get the bride, because if he wants to walk into it, I'm not marrying her. Plain and simple. He said, I will not marry her. I'm like, okay, you tell her that, because I tried telling her, and she just fell upon deaf ears with me. So he told her, up to me. She switched to me back to her original song. That the poor songs the whole night. That's all he was allowed to out. Felt bad for him. I still feel for him,
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's get into what our topic is for tonight. But before we do that, let's go over what we talked about last week, because each week it seems like our shows are evolving from the previous show. So if you haven't seen any of our previous shows, you can always check us out on YouTube, the same spot that you're looking at this video. I created a playlist with just nothing but the cueitup podcast. And also make sure you join our Facebook group page. I'll give you the information for that at the end of the show. But last week, the key takeaways was, because we had talked about DJing, having a DJ Gauntlet, being that you have back-to-back gigs without any breaks. And encountering DJ nightmares and the stress levels of dealing with the unexpected during those gauntlet runs, like gigs that you have back to back. So the main takeaways was always expect the unexpected and prepare accordingly. So I don't know if it's a Cleveland thing, but there's a sportscaster, because our Cleveland sports, every year we always say next year is going to be our year. Next year, wait until next year, and then next year come, we're going to go to the Super Bowl. We're going to go to the championship, and then about a third of the way in, we're sinking towards the bottom of wherever standings we're at. But his thing is, let me see if I say it right, is to hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. So I'm thinking that's
I'm a Jets fan.
yeah. So that's what that's what the first thing is about. Always expect the unexpected, and prepare accordingly. Then 2 was learn from your nightmares. There are teaching moments in disguise. So yeah, if you make a mistake, look at it, reflect, and don't keep doing the same mistakes over and over and over. Change it. That's what I have to tell my kids all the time. Like when we're in drum corps or in band, or when we're singing a song. If you make a mistake, everybody make a mistake. That's fine, but don't keep making the same mistake. Stop and fix it, or get back on beat, or do something. And then and then the third one is recover with professionalism and grace. Take ownership. If it's your fault, take ownership. The quicker you can do that, and the quicker you can come up with a solution, the better off you'll be. And if it's not your mistake, don't sit there and point fingers at the couple, because that doesn't help either, because then everybody's becoming defensive and not working towards a solution.
Mm-hmm.
So after you just did all these gigs, back to back gigs, now you finally get a break. Now what do you do? So what did you do, Mike?
First 2 days, I just basically cleared my head out. I didn't want to hear no music. I didn't want to hear nothing. I didn't want to look at my computer. I didn't want to look at my virtual DJ. I didn't want to do nothing. Then I sat down and said, I'm looking at my hard drives, and like 2 and 3 are identical, the structure. I'm like, I gotta change the hard drive one, and started it, and I'm like in the middle of it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm ready to kick myself in the butt for starting this. It is a long out practice, actually. It's like a practice session, but not a practice session, because you're not, using your mixer or controller or anything like that. But you're restructuring everything. So now basically it's the other 2 hard drives, so I know where things at to begin. But it was intense, because you're like, okay, now these songs aren't going to show up here, the albums aren't going to show up here, and that's a ball DJ. I hear guys talking. I keep everything on my internal hard drive. I have a 1 terabyte hard drive. I wish I could do that. I usually bring at least 10 terabyte of music to every gig with me, just because I always get that one relative or one friend of, if it's a wedding, might be the friend of the bride or a relative of the bride or a relative of the groom or whatever. They'll come up with the most oddest song, and when I say I have it, they're like, you have that song? I'm like, yes I do. I got hit for the hokey pokey. I had it. How about you have Who Stole Fishka? Yes, I have it. You got polka? Yep. Come on back here. And I showed them. They're like, oh my God, played them all. I'm like, I don't want to listen to 4 hours of polkas. I'm sorry, but I'll play a couple for you. And then once I got everything organized the way I wanted it, that was it. I hit recurse, and all the music just started once it recursed, I hit analyze, and I just walked back downstairs. Next morning I came upstairs, I'm thinking, okay, well, it's a good 9 hours since I seen it. It was at like 18%. I'm like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. This is crazy. So I just let it go. It worked its way through. It analyzed everything. Everything's perfect. It's just like a brand new drive all over. It's all restructured. Everything's, in the proper place. And again, I reanalyzed every single song on it, so I'm good to go with it. So knock on wood, you know.
And remember, I see people in the chat. Remember, this show is not just me and Mikey Mike going back and forth, and you all are just watching. Why don't you put your answer in the chat for me as well? Like when you have like off days in between gigs, what are some of the activities that you like to do? So put that in the chat because I'd like to hear from you all too. And then if you're watching the replay of this, still you can put your answer in the comment section below this video and tell us what do you like to do on your off day.
And then we see that post there, we'll come right back to you and we'll get back to you. But then I want to say probably about an hour, if that, you know.
I can't say an hour. I'll answer. It might be a month. It might be a year later because there's comments that I've seen that it takes me a while before I get to it and then hit the like or the heart sign.
This is always, as you know, the green dot's always out on my phone. So I'm always, today I got 3 calls for weddings and 3 calls for graduation parties. I was able to take 1 graduation party. The weddings aren't until 2026, 2027. There is 1 for this year. Apparently the DJ, something happened with him, so they're rushing to get a DJ because the wedding's only a couple months away. I gave him and see what happens. That's all I could say. Yeah, it's just, it is what it is. That's all. You know, just gotta roll with it. That's it.
Yep. Our off day to me just means that I'm not doing the regular. So, like, teachers been asking me, what have you been doing since you retired? To me, my working never stops. It just means I'm not going to your job and clocking in. It's usually I'm busy doing something that I either have to rush to do because I'm doing, this other activity, or I'm taking my time doing it, but I'm still busy doing stuff. Especially since I got the this podcast to do, I'm always busy. I'm putting more work in this. It's almost like doing lesson plans, weekly lesson plans and stuff.
I'll tell you, I'm working on with DaVinci Resolve, and I'm learning it a little bit more and more and more. So I'm going to start a little loosening the load up for you from the video end of it, and building stuff for the show and coming up with different things, different graphics for it. It was overwhelming when I first got it, but now that came out the real version of it, because the other was the beta version, and watching other people that didn't work for DaVinci Resolve or they don't work for that company. These are just people that are like you and I, and they're showing the YouTube world what and how they're working with it. It's like, oh my God, I'm watching these people from DaVinci Resolve and not knocking them because they are very thorough. But if you're going to do it their way, it's going to take you 4 or 5 days, especially if you're new at it, maybe longer. But working it the way Joe worked it, like he had it knocked out in an hour and a half. I'm like, well, why aren't the guys from DaVinci Resolve show you that way? Well, they probably would, but they want step by step every way. They don't want to cut people short. Well, part of the program, he never touched on this. Well, now you have to answer that question. So this way they're covering every bit of the programming.
Okay. This is getting kind of scary because, I do an outline of the show each week, and they say this segment should take only this amount of time. This one should only take this amount of time. So we got about a good 20 minutes left. I think there might be a chance that we can finally meet our quota for this show. So let me jump right into it. So no. So Cool Thing has said for his off days, he goes into the garage and practice for his next gig. And he says, I also work on my podcast, Time to Spin, which premieres on Mondays at 9:00 p.m. Other than that, I'm busy with family and downloading my new songs on weekdays and he forgot to mention that he's always live on Instagram. So I don't
Yeah.
know who's
Yep,
I don't
he's
know who's
always
worse, seeing your green dot on Facebook or get a notification that Cool Thing has just started a new live, Instagram
Yep.
live.
I try to catch his Instagram lives a lot. The only thing that's hit me up a lot now is my mom.
Mhm.
Like last night into this morning, I didn't get to bed till 4:45 Eastern time, and I was up at 6:45 Eastern time. So, not 4:45, 5:30 actually. So I had an hour and 15 minutes worth of sleep that I'm going on, and it's just gotta keep doing what you gotta do. That's it. I want to touch on something that may be related to this. Talking about that gentleman with the
All right, make sure you keep
That's
it.
it.
Make sure you keep it a couple of minutes so we can meet our
Yeah,
quota.
with-
Because remember, you
with
do
that-
that every week when we get ready
I know.
to end the show. Then it'd be an hour later. We still trying to end the show.
this is gonna be quick with the
Okay.
Roger playlist. I mean, you end up with something. We got these horror stories, and this wedding I'm doing on Saturday, the bride had just got in touch with me, and something happened with the photographers, I guess family or whatever. She has to leave by 6 o'clock. I'm like, wait a second. Ceremony's at 3. 3 to 4 ceremony. 4:30 to 5:30 is cocktail hour. 5:45 is introductions. I'm like, so here she asked the bride if we could speed it up. I said, listen, whatever you want to do, I'll do. I'm there. Don't worry about that. I'm there 2 hours before time. But if she wants to speed up, if we want to do introductions during cocktail hour, we could do that. We could get that done out of the way. We could do the first dances, boom, boom. Cocktail hour could be after, because it's cocktail hour after dinner anyhow. So why just keep it rolling? That's all. Make sure they get their the right pictures and stuff like that. The poor bride, she was a nervous wreck because she's like, I'm not gonna have no good pictures of me dancing with my dad and my room dancing with his mom. I said, listen, we'll work on it. Don't worry about it. I'll work with the photographer. I don't know the photographer. I never worked with her before. If it was somebody I worked with, it would just be like, boom, boom. Okay, Diane, what are we gonna do? Okay, I think we should do this. John, what do you think about this? Yeah, I work with like 3 photographers that continuously we work together, so we know each other's pattern. So that's a little horror story that hit me today. Just about 40 minutes before we came on air.
Oh, that's why you was late. No,
Yeah, honestly, that's.
I was like,
I'm
don't tell
taking-
me I'm gonna have to do this show by myself again.
No, I had to take pictures of the wedding planner, and I had to send it to her because all she has the hard copy. She didn't know how to take a picture and send it to the photographer. So I took the picture, I sent it to her, and then she was just gonna forward it to the photographer. I'm like, problem. I said, please, honey, don't worry about it. We'll walk you through. I will make sure you have your pictures. Make sure your night's a great night. Yeah, that gets dumped on you. It's like, oh my God, what's happening? Especially today's Thursday, wedding Saturday, and thank God the photographer's going to be there. That's all I can say. Thank God.
Yeah. Besides is working on my days. Well, if you want to consider it a day off, I'm not going to even say days off because I don't have days off. When I'm not DJing, I'm either doing content for YouTube. I'm getting better at using the video editing software and having AI create certain images and putting it all together to create something unique. This summer I'm planning on cleaning out my hard drive and doing it right, getting rid of all the duplicates, all the songs that don't play, that's taking up space and all that. So that's what my main thing is going to be this summer in between my so-called days off. But also I have finally took out my motorcycles and I gave it a wash down, so I got a chance to ride it today. So that's what I like to do when I'm not DJing or doing something musical, just so I can free my mind and come back
Exactly.
refreshed. Yeah, so I can just walk away from all the work, because it can be tedious sometimes. Just sitting behind a computer, because I could sit behind a computer all day, doing leads, doing promo work, working on the website, and responding to emails and all that stuff. So, and then creating music, I still do that. So
Yes. Yeah, it's funny how you said that. Like, you ride the motorcycle so you free your mind. It's not just us DJs. I don't care what profession you're in, or if you're working for somebody. You need a day that you could just walk away from, not everything in life, but you just want a day for yourself. It may not be a whole day, maybe an hour that you free your mind. You need that. Honestly, you do. Because if you don't, you're gonna lose your mind. You know, it's so sad that today's world is so fast paced, and if you miss that email from that client or miss a text message from the client, and you see it an hour later, you text them back, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got a DJ," and then you're like kicking yourself in the butt, like, "Why didn't I have my phone with me?" Maybe it wasn't meant to be. Think of it that way. It was meant to be, you would have had that gig, but it wasn't meant to be. So thank God it worked out that way for you. Yeah, you're losing money, but there's something, the reason you didn't get that text, there's a reason behind it.
Because after doing this, like sort of like DJ Gauntlet kind of gig run, I was thinking to myself, do I really want to be a full-time DJ, or do I want to be just a busy and consistent DJ? Because trying to be a full-time DJ and running as a full-time business and competing with DJ companies, that takes a lot of work. I rather, or just being a wedding DJ like some of the other DJs that have weddings behind weddings, double weddings, and doing that. I'd rather be a consistent DJ with small breaks in between, but have a variety of different kind of events to do, as opposed to the same type of event all the time. Because to me, that seems like that would burn me out a whole lot quicker.
Yes, a few years back, right prior to COVID, I want to say maybe about 3 years before COVID. Usually December is a quiet month. You get a couple company parties, and that's about it. That year, I had like from the middle of November through the week between Christmas and New Year's, I had like 8 weddings. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what's going on here in December? And it just happened to be these people were to weddings, and they loved it. It was great. It was really, really great. Because you come off a real big high in October, you might pick up a gig or two in early November. Then usually you have Brown Bag Wednesday, and then you might have something that Saturday after Thanksgiving. But that's basically it until you get your company parties. And now a lot of companies, they're not calling it a Christmas party. It's a holiday party. They're actually waiting to after the holidays. This way, people are rushing around so much. They come to this holiday party that the company's throwing for them, and they're just exhausted. So I do a lot of work for Boating Company. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're from England. They specifically make men's clothing, if I'm not mistaken. They may make women's clothing too, I'm not sure. But they started their holiday party to after the holidays. So their employees could have a good time. Don't worry about, I have to get out, I have to get this one I gift, I have to get that one I gift. All the gifts are bought, all the partying's over, family partying is over, and now it's time for them to have a nice party and be honored by the company.
Yep, I see we got a new person. We have Magic Smith. I'd like to welcome him to, I'd like to welcome him to the cueitup DJ podcast. Hopefully he'll become a member in the Facebook group page. And
Yes.
Yep,
Welcome,
don't be a stranger. So let's get into. I'm gonna try to zip through this real quick. And if I'm going too fast, that's because you can hear me in real time. I'm gonna assume you just can't see what I'm showing.
What was that?
You can hear me in real time.
Teasing, yeah.
Okay.
We gotta make this a fun show, right?
You let me go a whole segment, and I'm showing something on the screen. Supposed to be showing something on the screen, and you didn't say anything. You didn't say, "Oh, it's not on the screen."
I know. I forgot. I'm so. I know.
And did you hear the beginning of the Men in Black starting soon thing I did at the beginning of the show?
Mm-hmm.
You hear that part?
Yeah.
Or you were talking about I was doing this when your mic wasn't on.
I gotta put these back on. Hang on.
Okay, for our show, I went over to the Facebook group page, the DJ Hip Desk, and I asked this question. I said, DJs, what's one thing you do in your free time during open dates between gigs? Now let's see how many of these people have said the same things that we have said. So it was I think it was 136 entries. Some of those was videos, and what I did was just highlighted and copied all the responses and put it all in Chat GPT to get a summary. And out of this, I guess 106 of those was actual responses that were relevant to the question. And out of 106, we had, I think it's 16 people that said they still have a full-time job or they do other work besides DJing. And I'm thinking, oops, let me go back. 15, I'm thinking that's 17. I'm thinking this is 10. I'll go over the numbers later. But as you can see, the next most popular answer was outdoor activities like biking, hiking, or camping. In third place came DJ practice. That's what cool thing, and that's what you had said you do. I do that sometimes, but if I can just step away from doing work or DJ related work, I try to do that. In fourth place came creative hobbies like cooking, art, or airbrushing. The next one in line was music production, studio work. And I saw a lot of people that said sleep and rest, because I also saw an entry. I don't know if it's a video or did Brian just put out one of those, you know how you can put out a post with just like a color background with just white words or whatever, where he says he forgot that he needs a day for his body to refresh after doing a gig. And that's how I felt after doing all these back-to-backs and moving all these heavier speakers and stuff.
Wait to age.
Huh?
Wait to get my age.
Oh. By that time, hopefully they'll have shrunk everything down. Hopefully I can get away by using this to DJ. I just have to be fun. I just have to be funny looking, just doing this.
Yeah. I do have to say again, if it wasn't for my daughter and my son and my future son-in-law, I wouldn't be doing this, because physically I can't lift the speakers or set them up. And yeah, setting up the little lights on, that's no problem, but the other stuff, no, I can't do it. So I got my best friends helping me out.
And then Buddy has said, is that Buddy? No, Mike has said, oh, that's you. What's sleep?
That's me.
I thought I saw Buddy's name by What's sleep. Oh, Buddy said sleep. But Buddy could fool me, because he be keeping me up late doing that after, keeping me and Sean up. Oh yeah, and he be joining in Kevin too. Up late talking after the Tuesday shows and Thursday shows.
One thing I noticed about Buddy, even the topics during the show, there's always a food element thrown into it. The
Oh,
Chicago pizza, the Chicago hot dog, you know.
uh,
We got to come up with something with a DJ related food, you know, spinning a pizza or something like that.
all right, and then other people have put down sports. And I think that's about 7. I wish I could see the bottom of the numbers. They play sports. I used to play softball. That's what I used to do. Gaming was another one where they play console games. Like I guess that's like Xbox and PlayStation, PC games and sim racing. Family time and parenting, especially when you have younger kids, because they're babies one day, and then before you know it, they'll be adults, and you have missed all that time if you don't take time to spend time with them.
Yes.
Content creation and influencer work, and then they have some funny responses like off days. And somebody asked, "What is an off day?" Because I felt them. That's like me.
Yeah.
I really don't have a technical off day.
No.
And even when I'm on my off day, I still have my phone and checking emails and posting and stuff. So when I was in the hospital, I had to spend a couple of days in the hospital because overworking, being dehydrated, and all that kind of stuff. I'm still working and doing something in the hospital bed.
When you own your own business, there's no punching in 9 to 5. It's 24/7. You're it's like being a doctor. You're married to the medicine life. You're a business owner. You're married to that business owner. Yeah, you may have a wife or a significant other. You have children, but you're married to that life. Because if you let one pass by, or you don't respond, and the people reached out to you a couple times, and they're like, okay, well, he's not responding. I'm gonna try somebody else, and they get a response from somebody else, and they take that person, and next thing you know, I always say, bad news travels like dropping a match in a hayfield.
Mm-hmm.
Good news, it moves along like a snail.
Mm-hmm.
So I always, like Dwayne says, my green light's always on. My phone's always on. And I'm always constantly, my wife's like, you put the phone down already? I'm like, well, I just got to text this person, but you have to be, you're owning your own business, so you have to be professional, and you have to respond to it. I know, I think it's on, I forget if it's on my Facebook business page, like my hours stop at 8 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock in the morning. People don't look at that. They're just, hey, Mike's green light's on, he's on, boom, send him a message,
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's get into our presentation. Let me make sure I'm sharing, because I don't want to go through this whole thing. And all right, there we go. Start the presentation. So, Cue It Up DJ Podcast. So tonight's show is all about what smart DJs do during their off time. Yes, it's cool to make sure you take time out to do something other than work, DJ work. But there's also a time where you need to reel it back in so you can be prepared for the next gig event. So there's basically 5 different things that you should be doing. You should either be taking care of your music library maintenance, practicing, it's number 2. 3, check and make sure that your equipment is working, make upgrades when you need to. 4, do promo work and branding. And 5 is doing your business work. That's when I say business, that's like record keeping, because you want to do that throughout the whole year. You don't want to wait till almost April 15th and now you got to file taxes, and then you got to try to find receipts and all that. It's easier if you do it as you go throughout the year. And let's see. Always have time to grab some greasy food. Oh, that's you.
That's me.
You got all these different alias.
Right now. I wanted to sign in on my Mac, so I just came up with one so I could respond to people out there.
All right, so the first thing, it says, productive moves you can make between gigs to maximize your success. First thing is, again, music library maintenance. And that means cleaning up your crates or cleaning up your songs in your music library. Like doing gigs, I take requests, and if I can download a song I don't have, I'll download it. And when I download it, that means that I didn't like tag it and put it in my actual music folder. So that's some of the things that I can do. And then if there's crates that I don't need anymore, I delete it from my Serato database so that doesn't slow down my software. Or if you, just like Saturday, there were like small segments that work great, where there was a group of songs that worked great playing back to back to back. I'll go highlight those songs and make a folder for it or a crate for it and put in my go-to crate. So whenever I'm in that situation again, I can pull those songs to at least get me going.
Throw them right out there and boom, get the crowd participation.
And that's what's nice now that I'm starting to be more consistent with gigs. It's like I have crates or playlists that I know work. I can see it actually working as opposed to going off of hypotheticals. When I have these long laps, I was like, I think this should work, but now that I'm gigging and doing it, having gigs back to back to back all the time, I'm like, this works. So, and I'm starting to see consistent songs that actually work. So that helps. So putting those in the...
That helps a great deal, because it's like, okay, I'm going to try what they're going to give me. If it don't work, I got what I need to know I can bring them out to the dance floor.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you go back, and when you do your library management, put the songs where they need to go, or put little inside notes or when you tag your songs. The other one is tag your music, just what I just said, where you put different notes that help you get to those songs quickly for those certain situations. Delete duplicates and old bloated files that will slow down and bog down your software, because Serato can be finicky at times.
I'm a virtual DJ guy. Virtual DJ.
2, practice to keep everything fresh, because if you don't practice, it'll show when you show up to the gig. It's just like working out or exercising. If you start working out or exercising, then it's hard. If you're an athlete, we see it all the time in our Cleveland sports. A lot of our teams start off slow because it takes time for them to get back into that routine. So, so if you kind of like keep practicing throughout, even on your downtime, even if you just spend a few minutes, because sometimes spending less time practicing, just keying in on things that you really need to practice is more beneficial as opposed to not practicing and trying to do it long hours of practice. Yeah, make your practices deliberate and meaningful. Add cue points and loops and smart crates. I have started doing this, especially after I did the junior proms, since I had to create certain edits. And what I've started doing, I don't just put a cue point at the beginning or when the hook starts or when a certain part of the song starts. I put cue points at the best parts of the songs, so I can mix in and go right to the best part of the song and mix out, so I know where to go. So that's what I've been started doing with my cue points. And then try new transitions and techniques. So I gotta get back to scratching, because I kind of like fell off. I did it before I had all these back-to-back gigs. I was kind of like getting more confident with scratching.
Yes, you do, in muscle memory.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's muscle memory, and once you get that skill down, that'll never leave you. You may have to practice a little bit more to get back into the swing a bit, but once you get back in the swing of it, you're back to it. That's it.
Yep. And then the next one is record a short practice mix or scratch session. So that's why I try to do so often, not only to kind of like hear and critique myself, but it's also something you can put out so clients can hear you, potential clients can hear and see you, what kind of DJ you are, and if you are best fit their event.
I tell you, most of my clients come from, word of mouth referrals, or they attended a gig, that might have been a wedding, graduation party, whatever. And then I get a handful of gigs that I never met them before. They found me on Google. I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. Here's my price. Oh my God, that's cheap. That's a cheap price. I'm like, oh, okay, I can raise it up if you want me to, but no, I don't want to rape these people. They're paying enough for the venue, this, that. I want to make sure I'm making enough money that I'm not shortchanging myself. But again, like I said, they found me on Google. I didn't know them. Even a lot of the referrals, word of mouth referrals, I don't know.
You're a celebrity. You're a celebrity DJ now. You're a YouTube sensation, the star of the cueitup DJ podcast. We gotta get that guy.
You make me blush here.
3, always.
Yeah,
And the third thing you should always do in between gigs is to make sure you check your gigs and make sure your equipment works. And make upgrades if you need to.
Well, I want to interrupt you right here. If you own QSC K12.2s, there is a firmware update for that. So go on their website. If you have a PC or Mac, you have to download that into your PC or Mac, and then plug your speaker to your computer, and it'll update the firmware for you.
Yep,
so that's just a little bit of advice if anybody has a QSC K12.2s.
Yep. And then when you do upgrades, make sure you don't upgrade the day of your gig. Like especially with Serato and all that, or your computer itself. Don't rush to do upgrades not unless you really need to, especially with your Serato, or again, especially with I have a Mac, so Mac is always coming up with updates, but I don't update until I absolutely have to do it because certain things stop working right. Like I finally upgraded my Mac OS yesterday because my OBS stopped working, but I'm scared to do it because Serato and all your other software and things that you have that you use may not be up to speed to that new operating system. So
yes,
make sure you do your research before you upgrade.
Good point there. Always do your research. Always.
And then clean and inspect your equipment. I had to take out the duster because I keep forgetting with my small controller. It's when I took it out, the sunlight hit it, and you could just see it just looked dusty. So I had to brush it out and make sure I clean it off.
It doesn't matter. You could clean it an hour before the gig, just in the transportation. You get there, you open up the flight case or open up the case and bring the controller out, and it's like, where did this dust come from? So another little bit of advice, you don't have to get an expensive one, but it's a blushing brush that women use. Boom, boom, boom. That cleans up your controller and the computer. So that's a little bit of advice. Those little tips and tricks, they go a long way, believe me.
Yeah, I was trying to look I bought myself, here it is. Because I have a little duster and I have one of those fiber cloths. Let me put it against my body. I have the fiber cloth, and let me see if I have it. I have another Yeah, I don't have it. I have another cloth that's, I think it's lambskin or something. That's good for
Okay.
using for your your screen. So
Yes.
they want to scratch it, and then it gets it. You have to buff it real good, but like when I turn off my computer, I can see all my fingerprints and all that kind of stuff. So it'll clear that off. And then for Christmas, I found this at Five Below. It's like the little USB vacuum that I use.
There.
Well, I'm going to use, because you can see I haven't used it yet. It's still sitting here in the box. But I bought that for myself.
This past weekend.
Mm-hmm. But I don't remember to do it till I take it out the case. And I was like, oh snap.
How many times here? Me. One thing I always do remember, I always clean my computer, because that's one thing I cannot stand is fingerprints and dust on the screen. Especially in the prep in the printing industry, we never dust on our screen. So when I see it's on the screen, that's like pet peeve for me.
And then Buddy says he uses Mr. Clean Magic. He says Mr. Clean Magic Eraser is great. And then he also said you can get replacement parts from NLFX Pro.
Yes, can.
Yep. So I'll make sure I put those in the description when I go back and after the stream, add the links to those products.
A little bit of advice. New and upcoming days. You know, you click on it, something about DJ, virtual DJ user. I started with Serato, and I switch over to DJ, but I still go back to Serato. That's no problem there. There's millions of videos on this one saying do this way, this one do that way. Just do it the best yourself. That person in the video of he DJing, you're DJing, you're DJing for a client. So take ice to them, and then maybe the next 6 or 7 other, or maybe the next 20 people. Everybody's is going to be just a little bit different, a lot different. So you know, this fits this person, this fits from this, like 10 different things that fit from 10 different DJs. You put it in, mold it together, something yourself. It's yours. It's not. Like I say, it's you're putting your own brand in, because you're want to DJ for you don't want to DJ or and it's out there in all these videos. I see men, they just show up and man, this is the way you gotta DJ, this is the way you gotta set up your, this is the way you gotta do this, and this is the way you gotta do that. No, it's that way. Do what you want to do for yourself.
And then Cool Thing says, I never clean my gear and everything still works fine for me. Yeah, until the day it doesn't work. So I would say make sure you keep something there, because especially if you're doing outside gigs, you don't realize how much dust will come on your gear from being outside. So
especially in the heat, fan blowing on. That air's hitting your controller and stuff, and believe me, those little particles are getting it in. Best thing to do is can of air when you get home, blow it right out.
Okay, and Buddy has said get a MOAT, MOAT from NLFX Pro, mother of all testers, and then it's
I have that.
Yep. Is that the same kind of like thing I showed last week? The black box with all the different ports and stuff in it? Mike, you said you had it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He said it's $70 and you can test all of your cables. Those are expensive. It's the same thing I have?
Yeah. I think I have it. Well, I have mine. I have it back in my box. Hey, 1 second. I'm gonna grab it for you.
This thing? Cause I think I got mine after I think when I first did the DJ round table.
Right.
Buddy said something about it. Let me see
Cable
yours.
tester.
Yeah, yours look
Buddy,
like
is this
it's.
the one you have?
It looks similar. Yep. Use alcohol. Buddy said use alcohol wipes to clean. Yep.
91% alcohol.
And Cool Thing said Mike is cutting out. I can hear it. Yeah, his internet has been funny. It's gotten better since the beginning of the show.
We're having severe thunderstorms in our area tonight, and it's going on till I think midnight. They're advising people if you're outside, get inside. So I don't know, maybe something's going on with the internet now. And it's a hit and miss storm. It may not be raining here, but it might be raining up towards Scranton or towards Williamsport.
And then
See, I'm very with my stuff. Even after I buy it, when I get it, and I unwrap it, I test up and everything. I wrap it back up in the material that it came with because I don't want to lose it. You know, it's like I want to make sure I'm going to keep it the same way. I want to make sure it's protected.
Mm-hmm.
And this is it right here. I don't know if you're going to see it.
Yep, that's the same thing. Because I was going to say mine's. I guess I got the Guitar Center is Livewire. I guess that's their Guitar Center brand. Because this is only like maybe $39. It was 30 something. It's like, but see, I showed it last week. Daryl Bennett had. There's a new thing that's out that's shaped like it's for the XLR where you could actually plug it into your mixer, and you could check. Yeah. And it has all these different plugs, and then you can check also the outputs from your mixers and controllers and stuff. But then that was, what did I say that was last week? That was close to a $200 thing, like 170 or 180 or 179. It was something like that.
I think it was $180 he paid for his. But yours does the this does every cable possible that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
mine's too.
It's unbelievable. And then they have the diagram in the back. And you can't see it. I wish you could.
It's probably the same. Oh, okay. Yours is a little different. Yeah, because yours look like it has like.
That's a side view.
Yep. Yep. Wait a minute. So, Buddy said you trying to sell your gear?
Me? No.
Yeah, you're
never.
in the market of selling your cable testers.
No, I test everything.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, and I wrap it back. Look, it's going back in the bag. Then it goes back in the box. I'm very anal with stuff like that. I don't want to throw it away. I don't have a hard case cover for this, or like a hard case for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep it in the original box.
Okay.
That way, I know where it's at, and I'm not guessing. Because everything that I have, like in hard cases, I write down on what it is. And if you're gonna write on those plastic cases, like I have my hard drives in, a little bit of advice. These Sharpies, they're the oil-based ones.
Mm-hmm.
They don't wear out. So this is a real thick one. Then they have a fine one, and they have a medium one, and then they have another one that's just a little bit wider. Then they have the real wide one. So every piece of equipment I have, it's DJMM, and then on the other side of it says djmikiemike, or one side will say djmikiemike, and the other one will say djmm45.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had somebody try to steal a light on me one time.
Mm-hmm.
Right after I got them. One of my chroma cannon. I'm like to the guy, what happened to my chroma cannon? He's like, I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm like, I had it right here. Well, I ran to the bathroom and come back. There it is. It wasn't right where I said it was, but it was maybe about 30 feet away in the venue. I'm like, flipped it over. He comes over, oh, you found light. I'm like, yeah, I found a light. And I didn't say that. I mean, I can't blame him because I didn't see him take it, but it was just funny. It disappeared and then it reappeared, you know?
All right, so we already talked about updating firmware with your software and equipment. And then we just kind of like touched upon shop for accessories or replacements if you need to replace something. The next one is promo and branding refresh. That's something that you gotta definitely do, especially in this time of age. Make sure you have an online presence because that's how people find you. And Mikey Mike just gave a testimonial of how his couples find him. So update your online presence. If you have a website, make sure you update that with pictures. And then with me, by doing a lot of these gigs back to back to back, then I can have time to sit back and actually go through these different videos that I have recorded. Because I have tons of video, but I just don't have time to sit and edit it down. And so that's why I kind of like got into doing the small highlight videos, because that's something easy I can do real quick. Or if I have a good dance set, just put the dance set up there and just do like small cuts so you can hear the transition between each one of the songs. So I can throw something up real quick. And then schedule value-driven post. So I use GPT again to tell me when's the best time I should upload like the promo for this week's show. And like for the example, the poll question that I asked for at the DJ Help Desk group page, it told me to do it at a specific time and told me why. And I did it, and people were answering it like steadily from the time I uploaded it until they still answering it to today, because I had put up a couple of things and I only got, about 10. It was less than 20 for sure. But when I did it at a certain peak time, or the time that that they said Facebook users would most likely see it, it did help. So Chat GPT is a good tool to use if you don't use it. So what were you going to say?
It's amazing how people, East Coast, Central, West Coast, but it's so funny how people pick up on certain things at certain hours of the day. It's amazing. Really, really, truly amazing.
And Buddy wants to know if you're a sandwich board working.
Is Mike a sandwich board? My sandwich board is always working. As a matter of fact, I had 2 piccolo sandwiches today with extra onions on it, bud.
Oh,
they were delicious.
Oh, he was referring to Daryl selling stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's why I said yes, he is.
Yeah, it just looked like there was something cool to have until I saw the price tag. I was like, I could spend my $200 on something else. I can just continue to use this thing.
That's another thing with these DJs that are coming online. I mean, it's great information that they're putting out there, but a lot of times you can use my affiliated link, which is good because they are getting a couple bucks from Amazon or whatever the company is. But how much gear can you buy?
I don't know. You gotta ask Buddy. Buddy is good at buying gear.
Actually, yeah, Buddy. But if you buy everything that's coming out that's new, you're basically working all year for nothing because you're just paying all this stuff off. There's no possible way you're getting ahead. No way. It's not. But guess what? All that glitters isn't gold. It looks like it's gold, but it is. I mean, everything is. To this one client, that item might be gold. To the other client, it might be like, oh, that is so stupid. Why would I have that at my wedding or have that at my party? And the next client, they say, well, I like to have both of them at my party. So it's like, wow, you just sold 2 extra pieces to sorry about that motorcycle go by my house. You sold 2 other pieces of equipment that you could rent, not rent out, but you're getting paid for extra for it, and that's great. I mean, that is awesome. But again, you can't keep up with it. There's no possible way. I mean, if you do, you have to be a rich person. I know a couple DJs from my area. The one, his dad passed away. His dad was a surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he has everything that he could possibly dream of. When he does a wedding, his wedding started off about $25,000, but he has 4 DJs. He has 3 guys, 4 DJs, 3 guys running the sound, and then he has 2 guys running the lights, and then he has a dedicated person for the sparklers. And then if he has more than X amount of sparklers, he has another person run. Wow, great. Happy for you,
Mm-hmm. All right, it says, and Buddy says, it's sales. You have to price things right. You want to pay it off fast, so you start making money. Yeah, because I know Cleveland Terry says he usually buy things. When he buy things, his goal is to try to pay it off within 3 gigs. If he can't do it within the next 3, then he finds other resources.
Yeah.
And the last thing is to maximize your business efficiency. So you say you don't, because I use Honeybook. That's how I keep track of all my business stuff. So you do yours by, how you do yours?
Old-fashioned way, writing, and then I put it in I have 2 calendar books. I have my iPad, iPhone that has a calendar app on it, and then I usually put everything in notes too. Then I have whiteboard on my Amazon tablet, and that's also on my iPad. So whatever I put on my Amazon tablet, or if I put it in my iPad, it automatically transfers right over to both of them. I can see what's on either one of them. I can pick up my iPad, it's there. If I put some on my iPad, I can pick up my Amazon tablet, it's there. So I don't. I forget what company it was. It was years and years ago. I relied on them, and something happened with their server, and when it did, it just like boom, and they lost all their information. Their information was my information that I needed, and now I'm calling up clients going, what time does your wedding start? What's your favorite song? What do you want to do for your first dance? What do you want for your introductions? And from that point on, I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm just doing everything the old-fashioned way. I'm old-fashioned. That's okay. I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
Yep. But the main takeaway with this one is just make sure it doesn't matter what you use, just as long as you have something in place to keep track of your business, of your what you're spending, what you're bringing in, how to keep up with clients, and all that. Because they'll make things a whole lot easier, so you don't be the DJ that either don't show up or is unprepared, or the DJ that gets hit with a text audit. Stay on top of your email.
That's true. A tax audit, everybody.
And then stay on top of your email engagements, your leads, and asking for reviews. Stay on top of your invoices and contracts. Sometimes you might need to just look over your contract to make sure you take something out or update. It's good to have somebody, a legal person, actually look at your contract. So make sure that your contract is solid. Because
now, do you do your own wedding planner?
Yeah, I use Honeybook. And my contract was based off of the guy that got me into doing the weddings, Mr. Wilburn from Radar Productions. He let me see his contract, and I just basically took the bulk of it, but tweaked it so it fits me.
Yeah. Now I know I'm adding I'm gonna add a couple of things to my wedding planner, because there are certain weddings now they're bringing back the full head table. So I'm gonna put in my contract, well, not contract, in the wedding planner. Is it a full head? Is it a full head table, or is it a sweetheart table? Check whatever it is. You know, if it's a full head table, put an X or a check mark by it. If it's just a sweetheart table, put a check by that. That's all. It's this way. I'm a little bit more prepared for it, because I like to offer. I don't charge a wedding room for it. I usually put one uplight behind cake. I usually like to put one or two uplights behind them, just because they're a center of attention that day. The cake, everybody notices the cake since you walk in. So put a little uplight behind that. Put an uplight behind the couple. Boom. Easy peasy.
Yep.
And you're doing that for them. You're throwing those 3 uplights in, not charging. That means the world to get to them. I mean, these little things mean so much to them. It's unbelievable.
Yep. And then Buddy had suggested using QuickBooks. He says that works great for doing a month in. I'm assuming P&L is that pay and loss? So do a month in P&L, go over every bill, what is coming in and going out, pay your bills on time.
I know, I know before you used to be able to go get gas and you just took the receipt, you turn that, well, I have an accountant. So I just save my gas receipts and I turn them over to my accountant. And it was great the first year, and now they don't go by how much money you're spending on gas. You want to know what vehicle you have? Okay, you tell them it's this vehicle. Okay, it gets this many miles per gallon. They have the government has this figured out to, and now you just fill up your car for $60, and you fill that up again for another 60, and you fill it up again for another 60. That's $180. But you only drove 90 miles for this gig. 45 miles one way, 45 miles back the other way. How come it cost you, $180? So now the new thing is they go by mileage. They don't go by your gas receipts no more.
Yeah, I do mine by mileage.
Yeah.
And then Buddy said P&L means profit and loss. So do a month in profit and loss. And the Honeybook does that automatically. It'll tell you, give you a snapshot of what how your month went.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is the request for reviews. As far as being number 5, maximizing your business efficiency.
Not me. I don't ask for them. I'm sorry.
And
I
then,
gave Buddy a 5-star review the other night.
huh?
Twice he got a 5-star review. The round table.
Oh, okay. And then file organization, again, that's not just audio file. That means like your tax files and all that.
Do you
And
have
so-
an accountant?
Huh?
Do you have an accountant?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I have-
That's the best thing to have. Trying to manage it on your own. No. They change the laws every year. Every year. Believe me, the accountants know what the laws are. Let them handle it.
And then Buddy said, this is why DJs should have a business vehicle.
I just bought a brand new. Honestly, I went to the store to Walmart today. They had the Shaggy van, the Scooby-Doo van. I bought 2 of them.
Okay.
I ain't gonna carry none of them. They're gonna go on my dashboard.
Don't put down free candy.
No. I have my white petty van, so everybody teases me about that. That's a little out of right now, so it's going to be getting back in commission. My mechanics will be working on it. But but I gotta loosen and lighten the load in there because the back end's sitting like this.
Mhm.
I have air shocks on it yet. They get bigger air shocks. I don't know.
And so that's my presentation of what to do, what good DJs do on their off time before their next gig, if they fortunate to have a break. But most of them usually have a break, because I'm hearing like a lot of people saying if they're doing weddings, there's like a downtime or a slow time. I should say what DJs do during their slow time if you don't have a break. And Cool Thing says, I don't have a DJ vehicle since I don't know if that's a typo, but since I DJ every so often, I'm good with just my mom's Ford Fusion and my dad's Colorado Trail Boss. Mainly, that's what I thought. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was because nowadays it's like they come out with new terms. So it's like, I was like, maybe that's a new term that didn't hit up here yet.
Well, I'll tell you, like, you know, Buddy has a beautiful van, and that's great. Honestly, with all the equipment I have, I could probably have 4 DJs working for me full time. And, you know, it depending on what, I'll just say an event, not a wedding or whatever, what an event wants. If they want all my subs, they want this, they want that, they want lighting on truss and stuff like that, they're going to get it. It's going to cost them money. But I'm going to go out and rent a U-Haul van, not a van, a truck, so I could carry everything in it. I don't have to worry about, you know, am I going to fit everything in my van? Am I going to fit this in this car? You know, now I need an extra vehicle to come with me. I rent the U-Haul truck, and you can seat 3 people in it. Yeah, and it can be my son, maybe his buddy, or my son and my daughter, and then her boyfriend could follow us, or fiance could follow us in his car, or what, vice versa. Or they both could follow us, you know. So it's good to have your own vehicle, a good vehicle. But when somebody wants your whole kit and caboodle, I know they could have fit in one vehicle, because I have a ton of lights in here. I have a ton of lights out in my van. I just go crazy over it because everybody wants something different. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, so when you go out on your world tour, you don't have the tour buses and the big, huge, you know, those 18-wheeler things like Taylor Swift?
I have. Remember the movie R&B, The Rolling Turd? That's what I have. I have the Rolling Turd go with me. I just have people, when I pull up to a gig, I have a Chevy Cruze, and they look at me, they're like, boy, I'm the DJ. Where's your equipment? I said, it's in my car here. What do you have in there? I said, well, I got 2 subs, I got 2 12-inch speakers, I got my controller, I got my mixer, I got my lights, I got, you know, moving heads, this, that. They're like, you fit everything in that car? I'm like, yeah. Get out of here. I'm like, no. And then they see me taking stuff out, you know, because my son comes up in his own vehicle. They're like, how did you get that in there? And, I'm like, wait a second. I said, back when I was in college, I worked at UPS. We were taught no wasted space. So that was instilled in my brain, and that's it. There is no wasted space.
And so Buddy had went on to say, you're not the one doing the taxes, LOL. Are you doing the after party? And then I guess you use a 53-foot dry van. So I just...
No, Buddy, I use a piggyback trailer. You know what that is. That's
I used a little clown car. The one, you know, where you open the door and 50 clowns come out the door. That's how I do my equipment.
I love it. I hope everybody enjoys this show. I mean, we want to make it entertaining. We want to make it educational. But we want everybody to have fun here with us. I mean, we're smiling, laughing. That's what we want to do. You know, this world is as crazy as it is. maybe you could come here and escape with us for, I think we're only on for an hour, is it? Or do we usually go over an hour?
We're going up. It seems like we've been averaging close to 2. It used to be like an hour and 20 minutes. Now it's close to 2.
Yeah, I think we're at an hour and 45 now, but we're here having fun and we want people to enjoy this too and come into the chat. We'll welcome you. You spill your beans in there. Tell us what you guys are doing.
Yep. And then also we're going to start trying to bring in guests. So maybe you can be on the show and we can actually talk not face to face, but in real time as opposed to 2 minutes after seeing something in the chat.
I'm just reading a comment from Buddy. What we might do if someone can do HVAC and pulled up the same car. Well, Buddy, I would maybe try to pack some stuff in his car on the way home and just switch keys with him, and he could have my car then.
So for this next segment, for the longest, I've been creating these little wheels, and because of time, just been skipping it. So since we're going over, I'm gonna go and do this wheel because it, as opposed to skipping it. If you were here from the first episode when we did a segment called Scratch It, it's where we have a spinning wheel that we spin. It has a whole bunch of topics on there, and whatever topic it lands on, we answer it. Also, again, this is interactive, so you in the chat, you can also put your answer in as well. So since we're talking about things we do on our off time or downtime from DJing, that's what our wheel is going to be about.
Cool thing wants to be a first guest on our show.
Okay, we'll work on it.
But cool thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna take a lottery for it. We're gonna juggle the balls around. Ding, ding, ding. No, we're gonna get it. We're trying to get everybody on. Honestly,
Yep.
we appreciate you guys coming in, chatting and everything. Like I said, we want to make this fun. Go ahead, take it away.
Okay, and this wheel is do this or ditch that. And so again, if you're in the chat, and also if you've seen the replay of this, don't hesitate to put your answer in the comment section as well.
Yeah.
So these are some things that DJs say that they do during their downtime or off time. So let's see what we think of these, if we do them.
Coming through the room, turn the bass up. Y'all been sleeping on me, better wake up. Put your fly gear on, do your makeup, drop it real low.
Sticking to one DJ software forever. So cool thing, don't even have to answer to this one because we already know his DJ software be singing that Chris Brown song. This DJ ain't loyal. Yeah, I pretty much stay to the same thing. Occasionally I might use virtual DJ for a little small task, but I pretty much stay with one software because I know it. I've used it on a gig or basically whatever gig I'm gonna do. That's the controller I try to practice with to get used to it, and software that goes with that controller.
Well, I started off with Serato, then I grew up, I switched over to virtual DJ. And when you step up to that next level, you never go back.
Mm-hmm. And then Buddy thinks he's watching that Whammy show. You remember that show, that TV show a long time ago where it will fall on this devil character and you lose all your money? And I used to like that show. Let's try a couple of more.
Coming through the room, turn the bass up. Y'all been sleeping on me, better wake up. Put your fly gear on, do your makeup, drop it real low.
Having separate wedding and club crates.
Definitely.
What did you say?
Definitely.
You have two separate ones?
Yeah, well, I have my wedding crate. That's basically, for your introductions and stuff like that. And then I have my floor pillars. And then you could have your club crates, which you could just easily open and just drop in it. Like with virtual D, it's a virtual folder. So you don't have to build a crate. You could add music to it if you want to,
Mm.
and subtract music from it. So you're not actually building a crate like you do in Serato.
Mhm.
So I have my wedding folder, and in there's ceremony, pre-ceremony. Well, there's ceremony, then pre-ceremony. Then you have your bridal party, bride, then reception. Then I close that folder out. Then you have cocktail hour. I have a list of songs in there. Close that out. Dinner hour. List of songs in there. And then, you have your introductions. I have that all set up. Introductions. First dance. Dance with dad. Dance with mom. Any special requests are in there. But, that's all you need in there. Because then you could build off your club crates or your, I call them floor fillers or bangers. You could build off that. So keep them in one area and keep your wedding in a different area. And with virtual DJ, you could actually color code, like say I have weddings, it could be purple, and club music could be yellow. So you look, there's a yellow folder, that's where I know all my dance music's going to be. And then my purple folder is where my wedding stuff is at.
And Cool Thing says, ditch that. It's always good to try each software that is compatible with that controller and see what is the best for you. Yep, because it's just like what I said. He's always trying out different software. And then he says he does this for sure. He has a separate wedding and club crate. And then Buddy says, Press Your Luck is the show. Yep, that don't show now unless they still show it on this, like one of those vintage cable stations that show like classic TV shows and old game shows. Yeah, but yeah, I remember I even bought, I think it's a PlayStation version or PC, but there was a home video game. I did buy one of that because I like that show so much.
At least he didn't say it's the Gong Show. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I'd be gonged off 1, 2, 3, I think.
But I don't necessarily have a separate crate for wedding and club.
No?
Basically, I have folders. I know in my main folders of all my genres, like R&B, rap, pop, and all that stuff. I do have a wedding specific folder of songs that for weddings or vocal wedding songs that I have in there. But for each event, I create its own crate, so I pull from it. So it's not like I have a one spot to go to for just wedding and just club, because I pull a little bit from everything since I create a crate for or a playlist for each event. So that's how I do mine.
What I do is when I get done with that wedding, before I leave the venue, before I shut down, after all the important things are over, I just go in there and I wipe out those virtual folders. Now there's nothing left in there. And so if I have a wedding, say if I have a wedding Friday, then a wedding Saturday, when I get home Friday night, I'm building the timeline for everybody, the introductions and everything else. All my danceable music and everything is in its own folder already. So I don't have to worry about that. That's there. Just got to make sure I get all my other important music in where it's supposed to be. So instead of just having a wedding folder and say, okay, I'm going to dump all that music in there. No, I want my intros. I want my whatever, have their own separate folder. And this way I know where they're at.
And Buddy says, you're Rip Taylor.
Rip Taylor, I love him. I love Rip Taylor.
And let's try one more before we move on to the next section.
I'm coming through the room, turn the bass up. Y'all been sleeping on me, better wake up. Put your fly gear on, do your makeup, drop it real low.
Use AI tools to build crates. I kind of, sort of. What about you?
No.
All right. So how do you build your crates?
I go by the client, their playlist, and then I specifically tell each client, give me your guest list. I send them a PDF file, and it has, and this row it has 8, and this row it has 8. It has each guest picking out 3 songs. And it's going to be very repetitive. You're going to have, if there's 100 people coming to the wedding, you might have 100 Cupid shuffles. You might have 100 Macarenas, whatever. But then there's going to be a couple songs in it that, you didn't think of. And you're like, wow, that will fit our wedding. So, okay, they give me that playlist that was created by the guests coming to the party or to the wedding, whatever, or like even if it's a party. And then I tell the bride and groom, give me between 6 and 10 songs for yourself that you want to hear. Definitely throughout the course of the evening. If you just want it during the reception part, fine. If you want it during cocktail hour, fine. But if you want it during cocktail hour, I guarantee you're not going to hear that music. So they'll do that. And then, once I get that, it gives me a feeling what they're specifically looking for throughout the course of their reception, because I already got 6 songs that they definitely want to hear. It might be like they may say we don't like country, but their first dance is a country song. And it's like, oh, you don't like country? I know you do, because your first dance is a country song. And I don't mention nothing to them about that. So I just let it go. And, throughout the course of the night, I might, what do you call it? Like Shoutouts, Foot Loose. They'll come up and like, man, that ain't Kenny Loggins, is it? I'm like, no. Who is that? I'm like, it's Blake Shelton. Oh my God, I didn't know he's saying that. I'm like, yeah. So I thought you didn't like country. Oh yeah, we love stuff like this. You got, honky tonk, badonky conk. Like, yeah, I got that, And all of a sudden they start coming over to a country set. Then I got to swing back out of that and put something else out for them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird, because like couples will tell you that they don't like certain genres, or even whatever event you're doing, they'll say, well, no, we want to stay away from this genre. I mean, well, 99.9% of the people will stay away from the hardcore rap, hardcore heavy metal, and that death metal. They'll stay away from.
Mm-hmm.
And there are 3 that are given. But all the other stuff, they're basically let me make my own judgment on it. So, which is good.
All right. And then Buddy wants the center square. Paul lied was the best. Cool Thing says he does this. I use AI to make playlists for something I'm not familiar with. And Charo also. So I guess he's referring back to the center squares. So what is that, Hollywood Squares? Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
No, the Brady Bunch Squares. He's Alice.
Oh. Yeah, but
I'm one step ahead of you.
Yep, but I use AI all the time. It's like we talked about AI in an earlier episode, where like algorithm is AI, because like when I did the junior dance, when I had this long playlist and I needed to cut it down and find a certain kind of song, I use AI to go through that list and take out the songs that I need to not listen to, but songs I need to focus on. So that's how I use AI. Also, I have used AI as in Spotify, because when you create a Spotify playlist, when you open that playlist up, at the bottom would be AI suggested songs that will fit well with wherever you already have in your playlist. So that's how I discover new music and build.
I'm wrong by saying I don't use it, because in Virtual DJ it does have Ask the DJ. So you could put a song up and have it playing, and then all of a sudden it'll come up on the bottom of your screen. This will be a good song to go with that song.
Mm-hmm.
So it's AI reading your music for you, and it's tell you, play this song next. It's going to fit well. So I guess I spank me, crack me in the head, crack me across the hands, because I, like the nuns used to crack me across the knuckles when I did something bad in school. Might not have been bad, but in their eyes it was. I'm bad there. I do use AI.
Because it's gotten to the point where AI has been so like available in everything now. It's like you don't realize you're using artificial intelligence.
Yes.
Because it's so common. All right, so let's go into the next segment. And the next segment is our shout-outs. So this week, I'd like to shout out Kevin Beers from DJK Productions for allowing me to come down and hang out with him at his wedding event this weekend. I had a good time. I don't know about him. He did all the work. I did the easy part. But
That's the best.
yeah, but Kevin is on the DJ Roundtable. We had talked about MC skills and mic work, and Kevin is a pretty good MC. I like his style. It sounds natural, and it's friendly, and then he has that voice. It's not like DJ Brentley. Brentley has that deep radio voice. Kevin's voice.
Everybody.
Yep. Kevin's voice, I told him he sounded like he should be at the state fair or something. He got that kind of voice. But I did like the way that he worked his mic and the way that he controlled the reception. So I'd like to again thank Kevin for allowing me to hang out with him. And he's also been instrumental as far as helping me move from being a part-time DJ and finding gigs, because he had found the high school homecoming dance for me. He gave that to me, and then he gave me a wedding earlier in the later part of 2024.
Oh, matter of fact, I got a text message yesterday for Hanover area semi-formal already for next year.
Okay.
They booked me. I'm like, again, that green dot's on my phone. I'm answering it. I do not take a long period of time to respond. Unless I'm in the middle of the process of doing stuff for my mother, then I will respond. I'll say, can I get back to you later on this afternoon or maybe tomorrow morning? I'm taking care of my mom right now. And people are very, 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 very kind and say, yes, no problem, Michael. You understand? Go ahead and do what you got to do.
Okay.
But the next day, I'm responding.
All right. And as I said earlier, if you're not part of our Cue It Up DJ Podcast Facebook group page, make sure to join. And here's the long generic URL code. But if you just want to type in Cue It Up podcast in the Facebook search engine, you'll see two things. You see the public group and the private group. You can join either one or both of them if you like. Yep. And also make sure to follow all of us on our social profiles. You can find DJ Mikey Mike at DJ Mikey Mike on Twitter, DJ Mikey Mike 45 on Instagram, and DJ Mikey Mike on Facebook. You can find me.
That's why my eyes are burning tonight.
Okay.
I cut the grass and it's like,
That's how I was the other day. I also did some yard work on my day off, and allergies been killing me. So
yeah,
I think
it's like,
it was Tuesday, I believe. After the show, I had to take some Benadryl, and just go ahead and sleep it off.
I should have taken some tonight. 'Cause if you notice, I'm coughing in between. Just kicking my butt.
And you can follow me on all of my socials at HITMANDDub. And then also, we have a DJ collective network of a group of DJs fellow DJ friends that we all have shows of our own or we appear on a certain show, and we all have Facebook group pages that you should check out and follow. But before I get into that, the views and opinions expressed during DJ Collective Network primetime shows are those of the individual hosts and guests of that show. They do not necessarily reflect the views or official stance of the different shows of the DJ Collective Network as a whole, its affiliate, or production partners. Viewers and listeners' discretion is advised. So, starting on Mondays. Mondays we have Time to Spin with DJ Cool Thing at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. And then on Tuesday, it's Buddy and his group of fellow DJs. And it's the DJ Roundtable at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. And then he does a replay for YouTube. So if you don't see us live on Twitch, you can find us the video on YouTube every Monday at 12 o'clock. Then we have the DJ Biz School with Sean, DJ Night Owl. He used to do a live show at 7 o'clock on YouTube Eastern Standard Time, but lately everybody's been busy for the summer months DJing and doing what we are, DJing. So check out his channel. You can check out his channel anytime to catch up on some of his old videos, and maybe he'll put up some new ones. But as soon as he'll start back doing the live, we'll let you all know. And then on Thursdays, of course, it's the cueitup DJ podcast with the HITMANDDub and djmikiemike at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. And again, each one of us have our own Facebook group page that goes with each one of our shows that you can reach out and ask questions and interact with us. Because it's just like what I said about this show. This show is not just something that happens every Thursday when we go live at 9 o'clock. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week. We can interact, and I'll try to put up things in our Facebook group page to kind of like added resources that we don't cover during our show.
Yes. Like I said, please drop your comments in here. Once the show's over live, it's still going to be on YouTube. Drop your comments, questions, whatever you have. We will get back to you. I mean, I know I will instantly. Like Dwayne said, it may take him a little bit, but he will get back to you also. But that's what this is about. It's not just me and Dwayne talking about what we're doing and what we're trying to do. We're not trying to tell anybody this is the way we have to DJ. We're just trying to give you some advice and different pointers on DJing. A very good professor of mine, I went to college for commercial art. He said, that's one thing nobody could ever do is teach you how to draw. It has to come in from in here, from your heart. Same thing with music. People cannot teach you how to be a DJ. It has to come from within your heart. And plain and simple, if you don't love music, I don't know how you can DJ. You know, there's some guys that say, "Oh, I hate music." Why? I mean, music makes people smile. That's what it's all about, making them smile.
Mm-hmm. And make sure to like, share, and subscribe to not only our channel, but all the other channels that we mentioned, being it Time to Spin, the DJ Roundtable, and the DJ Biz School. Also, he's the official, unofficial DJ member. That's DJ Kevin, or K-Dog as he would say on the other channels. But he's part of the KJ Chill Room karaoke chat, hosted by Matt and Eric. And their shows are live on Mondays at 7 o'clock. But they also show the rebroadcast every Sunday at 9 o'clock on the DJ Network TV show.
Sorry.
All right, before we head on out, here's our fade out with a message. And this message is rest, reset, reload, and come back harder. So make sure that while you busy working and trying to get those gigs, that you also take time to make sure that you're mentally right, healthy, and be ready to go for that next gig.
What I just want to interrupt one thing.
Yep.
Also, Eric and those other guys are all also on the chill room every night. Monday, Thursday, Friday. There's people in the chill room. So go to the chill room, DJN TV chill room. You have questions, boom, you can ask questions there. I stop it every once in a while. You gotta get Dwayne to come in there. Buddy's always in there. I know he's always bringing a tray of pizza and he's sharing with everybody. So Fat and I'm waiting for his bringing his hot dogs in too. You know, so I hope really enjoyed the show. Like I said, we try to make it fun. We want to be serious about DJing, but we want to make it fun too.
Okay, let's go to the chat one more time before we head on out. Cool Thing said, before I forget, thank you for the shout out each week for plugging my show. It means a lot to me. No problem. That's why we're here. Try to highlight and celebrate all the DJs, to try to give them some shine, to try to give them some business. And then he also went on to say, coming in 2026, DJ Reflex will be joining me as the co-host on the Time to Spin show.
Let it go, Cool Thing.
Yep. So with that said, hopefully we'll see you all next week. Have a great weekend. And make sure before it's time to spin, you got to first cue it in. So go out there and have a great weekend and kill those gigs. All right, take care and see y'all next week.
See ya.
I'ma rise like the sun while the world still sleeps. Scouring the sights looking for new leads. Marathon gigs with no in-between. Your worth is from a rear view they seen. They wanna party, but I'm battling fatigue. Chasing passion while my mental is still out on leave. It's an everyday hustle, so respect the DJ life. We make it look easy, but the pressure's tight. Cue up the pressure. Got a story to tell. Dreams in the booth where the DJs dwell. Clubbing is a struggle like it's all I've got. Set it up, break it down, travel to the next spot. Ambitions, the engine stay sharp like a tool. Revving through my gigs, power drinks is fuel. It's an everyday hustle, we'll respect the DJ life. We make it look easy, but the pressure's tight. Pressure. Cue up the pressure.
Great show, buddy.